Okay.
Hi.
I wanted to do a quick review of The Platform 2. Before I watch any other reviews on it, so my opinion doesn't get tainted, I have a habit of watching a movie, having no idea what to think about it, and then turning around and like watching reviews on it, and then understanding why I did or didn't like a movie. This one, the themes, it's the very ending, and by ending, I mean like at the end of the credits, pulls the movie together in a way that makes it all make more sense. Thematically, and this whole review is going to be a spoiler review, so it was neat. The first movie was an obvious allegory for capitalism and how the people at the top take everything. They don't care about the people at the bottom. They don't even understand the people at the bottom. When they sent up that little fancy dish that nobody ate to send a message to the top, the chefs were like, oh, they must have not liked the food, instead of understanding that it was supposed to be a message about how bad things were down there and that they didn't want their fancy food. And this movie was the opposite. It was symbolic of extreme communism, or yeah, I would say it was definitely a little bit more symbolic of a communist government, more so than just an idealistic socialist government, because that's what everybody's striving for in this movie. In both movies, the people want everything to be fair, but it just does not work out because of the way humans are in the pit. And at first, it's like, okay, that's neat. The first movie was about one political and economic construct. The second movie was about a different one. And I originally didn't like this movie as much. The second, it was a little bit more annoying. The characters made more annoying decisions. After watching the first movie, I'm spending so much time like shaking my fist, being like, that's not the rule. Who are all these new people that are making up all these stupid rules? Why can't that? It was really frustrating. And I do think that could be, it was a great message about how sometimes when you focus too much on trying to make everything fair, you can end up making decisions that are just stupid. And that's what happens in this movie, right? They're trying so hard to make sure everyone's treated 100% equal that everybody ends up suffering. You know, there's points where they're mad at people for eating too much food, or they're mad at people for eating somebody's portion that had died, and they end up getting in these big brawling fights on top of the food, ruining it for everybody down below. There's a pretty on the nose fight against the rebels and the current ruling class, and there was parts that I didn't really understand about either movie, and that had to do with the kids, other than maybe it symbolizes that the only way we can fix the world is with the new generations. That's all I could get from that. What I did like about this movie was the subtle little twist at the very, very end, that this whole movie was a prequel to the original Platform. And my mind was a little bit blown. It was really neat. I thought it was a neat twist, and it made a lot of things make sense. I don't think well, maybe it did. It might have pulled together really nicely, because I forgot his name. It was the old guy from the first movie that was the main character's cellmate. He was in this movie, and at first it's like, okay, is this supposed to be very supernatural, you know, not taken completely realistically? Or that was the only way I could think it made sense. But it was a prequel. He was already alive. She was one of his past cellmates. And the original, she's there. I didn't quite catch exactly what happened. I think she accidentally somehow had something to do with her ex-boyfriend's son's death. And her ex-boyfriend was the guy from the first movie who's at the bottom of the pit, which I think is probably the best place to be if you're not on one of the first, like, 20 floors. You're probably better off, maybe top 50. You're better off just being on the bottom, because apparently nobody ever gets out. You either die or you spend forever in there. And they send you to the bottom at some point, or if you happen to get to the bottom, you're just stuck there. But at least it's a little bit grim, but they get all the dead bodies down there. So they have sustenance at the very bottom of the pit. You know you're not going to be picked up and brought to a different level. I think once you're down at the very bottom, that's where you stay. The workers don't go down there. They just shove the other dead bodies down there too. And that was my opinion. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was as good of a movie in every category combined as the first one. But I did like how they pulled it into the first one and how it was really surprising. And I was absolutely not expecting to find out it was a prequel to the Platform 1, or the platform. That's my opinion. I really wanted to put it out there. Now I'm going to go try to watch a couple other reviews and Ending Explains and see if my opinion on movies is trash. Thanks.